Keegan starts off this hour in Indianapolis. Hi, Keegan. How are you?
Better than I deserve, Dave. How about you?
Just the same, sir. How can I help?
Well, I've got a quick question about student loans and the payback of them. Recently married, and my wife got herself into some student loan trouble. And when we got married and we're going through the counseling, she thought she had $20,000 to $30,000, but wasn't real sure because her parents weren't real transparent with the loans. So we got married in January, and we've been hitting her part, which I found out was $35,000 at about $2,500 a month. And just the other day, I found out that her parents did the Parent Plus for another $50,000, and they're wanting us to pay that back too. And I'm just looking for the direction that you would go.
So, this family does a crummy job of communicating. And when the comes up in counseling and she goes, "Oh, I think I've got some student loans," and then the parents aren't real forthcoming, that's when we're going to have a cup of coffee before the marriage goes forward, and mom and dad are going to come clean and be forthcoming. You let this happen to you.
I did. My life is Rich Dad, Poor Dad in a book.
How old are you?
25.
That's well put. I like that. Good line. Okay.
So
as you understand it, does your wife feel like, because I'm 100% sure right now that nothing is written down, does your wife feel like that she promised to pay the loans that her parents were taking out to send her to school? Did she make that promise at the time that she was going to school to them?
There was no promise, and it was such bad organization and communication that she thought there was a chance they would be paying for half or all of the part that she had.
Okay, then that's what they need to do.
Okay.
Because they didn't communicate. Parent Plus loans, your wife does not have her name on them. The parents owe the money. Okay? And they just borrowed $50,000 to send their kid to school is what they did. Now, if you guys choose to pay some of that, that is a gift. That's just you being nice. And so what I would do is I think the four of you need to sit down and really have a real clear conversation. And how does your wife do when she's communicating with her parents? Is she intimidated?
Is she what?
Is she intimidated?
I think a little bit. And it's never been real open is what it should be and what I'm used to.
Yeah, so I think it needs to get real open real fast and grab a yellow pad and scribble down what we've agreed to and everyone initial it and date it. Not as a contract, but just because these people don't have good memories.
How would you approach it if, say, they make a very good amount of money, but they claim that this is going to push them over the hole into bankruptcy?
I don't think this is going to push them over the hole into bankruptcy if they make a good amount of money. I think other stuff they've done has done that. So now they're guilt tripping.
Yes.
Okay. So what is your household income?
Combined, we bring home about 80.
Okay. Well, what I would do if I were in your shoes is I would sit down with them, the four of you, and very kindly and very gently. We don't want to destroy a relationship. This is her parents. You want to continue to have a relationship with them if at all possible, and just say, look, you guys have done all three of you've done a really bad job with this. And you kind of got to be mediator almost. You look at your wife and go, now you told me that you didn't have any idea that you were supposed to pay all of this. It wasn't clear to you at the time, right? And she says yes. And then you go, did you guys tell her that she was responsible, or did you just think she was going to know this by osmosis? And then they're going to go, well, we didn't really talk about it because we don't really talk about anything. And you go, okay, then technically, she didn't make you a promise. There's two different issues, okay? Number one, there's a legal issue. The legal issue is you owe zero.
Mm-hmm.
She's not on the debt. You understand that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the only issue is there a handshake promise that your wife made that you need to help her keep because you married into that? And to the extent, and my guess is you're probably going to do something towards this loan, as a matter of a peace offering in this mess. And the way I would do that is I would say, when we finish getting out of debt, then we will pay you, $20,000 of this 50, or, because there's a misunderstanding and we want to be kind and we want to go forward, but we're not going to pay it all. That would be something I would do. If you want to pay nothing, you can, but you're going to have trouble with the relationship.
Yeah. And that's along the lines of what I was thinking, but I just didn't know how to word it, because I feel like they need to participate in the pain because of the
lack of clarity.
Communication.
Yeah, the lack of clarity. I think you're exactly on it, Keegan. And in a sense, you can just say, listen, I wasn't here when all this was done, so you can kind of step back and play mediator, like you were trying to work this out between them, like you were a counselor or something. And then come to an agreement and go, well, I think you point at your wife. I think you should probably pay some of this, and so maybe you ought to pay $20,000 and they ought to pay $30,000. What is their household income?
I'm gonna guess and say it's somewhere in the threes.
Yeah. So the maximum I'm going to do is 20. The minimum is 0, obviously. And I'm not going to do that until you're completely debt-free of all your personal debts that the two of you have in your names.
Okay.
And then and only then, if you want to do some towards this lack of clarity, you can. And then you're going to run into lack of clarity again, like what time you're getting there for Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Just be ready. It's going to be a pattern. But just be happy and kind, and they're obviously out of control with money. They've tried to out-earn their stupidity, and maybe this can be a chance for them to turn their life around. But if they're making $300K, they're likely not bankrupt. And for sure, $50K Parent Plus loans not putting them over the top for bankruptcy if they're bankrupt. If they're bankrupt, it's because they got millions of dollars in debt on something else, and not because of a $50,000 loan when you can make $300. So I'm not buying that guilt trip. You have to sell that ticket to somebody else. Open phones this hour. Life on the radio. That's what we call it around here. It's work that matters. Changing people's lives with this information. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, you guys. Rachel Cruz here. Hope you're enjoying the Dave Ramsey Show. And did you know that I have my very own YouTube channel? Yes, that's right. It's kind of better than the Dave Ramsey channel. Don't tell them I said that. I'm kidding. So subscribe, and there's lots of videos about life and money. So while you're at it, if you want to check out a video, then you can check out how to do a monthly budget. It's one of the best videos out there.